What is your biggest fear? What are you afraid of more than anything? That I am too late to achieve what I want in a reasonable amount of time. Losing my grandma, she's my whole world and helped me more than my own mom. I wish her a lot of health. That I'll discover at death that my agnostic atheist views were wrong. And as such I'm in for some shit. Although if you think about it, it would probably be worse the other way round. Heights. And I even know it's irrational at times, but it's still crippling for me. But for some reason I'm totally comfortable with flying. Interesting, because I am afraid of haze and I am afraid of flying, but now it is better though. The ocean. Specifically, open water in the middle of the ocean. Nothing scares me more than being in the middle of the ocean, seeing nothing but water in every direction with no way of escape. Also all those creatures. I'm helplessly sitting there at their mercy. Well, I got goosebumps writing this. The ocean is such a scary and beautiful thing. Getting my eye poked out by an umbrella and then death. Another vibes. Aging. I could care less for immortality, I'm okay with death, but the act of cellular degeneration over periods of time is what terrifies me the most. Imagine being old and practically incompetent. Taking God knows how many pills a day for your countless prescriptions. I'm 20 years old and I still fear the act of aging. I hope when 2040 arrives there will be necessary precautions to stop our body from breaking down, and hopefully increase life expectancy. Yes, I am 27 and last year's I am so scared to be 30. Then 40. Really. I can imagine that once I will not look so young as now. Eat properly. Don't smoke or do drugs and drink. Sleep a lot. Get all the nutrients you need via food or supplements. Exercise. And you'll be fine. I feel better at 42 than I ever did in my 20s. Getting psychosis. Not to make your fear any less real, but you really learn to live with it eventually. I've been diagnosed paranoid schizophrenic for a while now, and I can remember being terrified when I first started having delusions. It is scary, and it is different, and can be hard at times. But I'm still me. I hope you never have to face any form of your fear. But if it ever comes down to it, I am sure you would find a structure that is best for you. Social rejection. It hits me so hard when it happens that I stopped bothering to try to make new friends. Ha, jokes on them. I deliberately withdraw, isolate from them so they can't socially reject me. Not trying to sound edgy, but fear of the unknown. It's definitely scary not knowing what's out there. That I've wasted my life. Something terrible happening to my loved ones. Drowning, choking on something, suffocation, etc. Just not being able to breathe in general is just terrifying emo. Yes, it is very scary, though before your message I have never thought about that. Having a chance and wasting it. Sometimes it be like that. Spiders. In a completely irrational way. Huntsmen are the worst. Take the clock off the wall. Huntsman. Put down your sun visor. Huntsman. What's that coming out of the air conditioner? A fucking huntsman, Jesus Christ. In small town Craig, Alaska, there's a few weeks where the grass is covered in these spiders. I quickly learned which of my coworkers were afraid of spiders. Decision making. Fearing that one choice will set me on a path of regret and doubt. Wondering if I had chosen differently would lead to a much more fulfilling life. Losing my eyesight, dick or some combination of limbs. Wheelchair I could probably make, but anything else would make me rope. I'm losing my eyesight in my right eye. It has taken me nearly 4 years to accept it. When it comes to having a fear of losing your eyesight or any other body part, it's understandable to be fearful of it. Nice try, monster who lives in my closet. Getting dementia. I wouldn't be able to handle losing memories or forgetting people. Death. I just can't handle the concept of just not existing anymore. I can't wait to not exist. Nothing is nothing to fear. Cockroaches. Sarah Jessica Parker. Spiders. Loneliness. I want a girlfriend so bad. Skeptical smiley face. Just make one. That was a joke. Please don't do anything dangerous. unethical or illegal. Otherwise go ahead. The ocean, and any noise that is slightly too loud. Subnautica is a nightmare for me. I'm extremely afraid of being forced to do sexual acts or raped. It's a weird fear, but I've seen way too much stuff on the news about high school, college students being kidnapped or sexual assaulted or full-on raped by other people, whether it's a stranger or their boyfriend, girlfriend. I would never want that to happen to me, and it's why I never walk through empty parts of town or alleyways. I don't think that's a weird fear at all. I feel the same. You know, when I think about being raped, I am afraid so much. I think it is quite normal fear. Life. More specifically, social interaction. I'm with you. I hate talking to people. My biggest fear is never finding a girlfriend, wife, not being able to start a family, and dying alone without ever having children, being set on fire, locked in syndrome, goddamn spiders. It's a common thing, but just in any given situation, having the feeling of no control or no ability to change the possible outcomes. Unfortunately, life is so unfair that very often happens like that. Colon cancer. My dad died from it. My cousin was diagnosed with it. But because I'm not 50 or 5 years younger from when your dad was diagnosed, I can't get insurance to cover a colonoscopy unless I lie. And even that's not a guarantee. It could be totally preventable. But because of stupid, outdated factors, it always stays in the back of my mind. Pregnancy. I've had that fear since I was around 8 or so. I never want to go through the pain of giving birth or having a child end up with the same disabilities I have. I have never thought about that, but recently my colleague said to me that she had a baby a day ago. And it was so scary and painful to have it. Though I still want to have children very much. Cooking a steak to perfection without a meat thermometer in front of Gordon Ramsay. Oddly specific, but I feel you. Ruining my marriage. Pain. Now that I think of it. That's why I have a strong phobia of wasps and hornets. Yes. Didn't find the news about giant Asian hornet very dandy. That I will find my outlook on life as resulting in wasted opportunities. And that my view on life will inevitably be wrong. And constantly changing. I don't like always feeling like a stranger to my past self. And criticizing my behaviors of the past. Spending the rest of my life living alone with a shitty job and living paycheck to paycheck. I made a vow that I'd kill myself if I'm still living like this by 30. Fire. Being on fire. I was on fire last November. My entire back and left arm monsieur before that. I used to think, man, being on fire would be painful. That would suck. Now that I've been on fire, it's my absolute worst fear. It's crippling. I can barely function around it. I hope you feel already better. Take care. Once I had fire in me flat, it was horrible. Dying alone. Your last conscious thought being that nobody will even know you're gone. The people with the hardest time dying are the people who can't give up. The ocean. There is so much we don't know about what lies in its depths, and that scares me more than anything else. That I will be 40 and still be unhappy or uncomfortable with myself. Or 50, 60, 70, etc. Looking at myself and saying, you fucked it all up, you're a terrible human being. Becoming blind. World War III. I know it's cliché, but the only thing that keeps me up at night sometimes is the notion of global civilization. Collapse in the midst of apocalypse. The world is in a very unstable state right now. It could happen at any time, and there's nothing you can do to protect yourself. And if you survive the opening salvo, there will be no one to help you or your loved ones out of the burning wreckage of the world. No infrastructure to use to escape. No resources available. No food, medicine, water, communication, etc. There's nothing I can do to stop it. So I don't let it affect my day-to-day. But it is my only real legitimate fear. Yeah, but specifically another Holocaust, because I'm definitely something Nazis would target and send to concentration camps. It's so scary to think about. Snakes. It's called ophidiophobia. I make a lot of postings in Redditland on wanting mothballs legalized as an outdoor snake repellent. Few if any agree with my sentiments. Nonetheless, I have no use or desire for serpents. I try asking this question a lot that no one can answer for me. In that I ask, why do we even need snakes? The answer I get is because they eat the mice. So when I try to ask the obverse of the question, why do we need mice? The answer I get is so the snakes can eat. Sorry, to me it seems both animals aren't needed. I'm actually not afraid of mice. But if that's the only purpose they serve is to be feed for an animal I don't like, I'm very confused. Do you live somewhere where there are many snakes? In my region there are no big snakes or snakes at all. Central Florida, actually. Most snakes around me are the southeastern indigo snake, Colibri, often mistakenly referred to as a black snake. They are non-venomous and they do not like people either. They will flee. Nonetheless, we can on occasion have water moccasins, cottonmouths, in the viper family, and coral snakes, eat pallets. I'm not impressed. Again, one snake is 5 snakes too many in a snake's scientific nomenclature. They're overwhelming. Likelihood of being non-venomous is still more than I can tolerate. I have ophidiophobia. It's not funny. It's debilitating. Maybe you should move to other place to live. There are many places without snakes. Maybe it would be more comfortable for you. Yeah, no. I get cold in Florida sometimes. I have to live here as there's nowhere else I could go. To the chagrin of Redditland, I actually like living in the Sunshine State. The people here are actually not that bad despite the false stereotypes. It's the wildlife that I'm more worried about. Just legalize mothballs and I'll be really happy. I'll never see another snake again. Win-win. Death of anyone. I'm fine with changing bullies' faces by punches but never death. Screaming but no one can hear me while being chased by a murderer. Oh yes, I have SMTH like that as well. That nobody will help and I will understand that there is no way to run away. Well, apart from everyone around me slowly dying and fading into nothingness, I'd say occultism that goes in the direction of paranormal stuff. I guess I'm just not cut out for it. I remember as a kid that my friends from time to time wanted to try this stuff out. Bloody Mary, Ouija boards and so on. And always just though, oh, hell NAAAWWW. Or movies for instance that make a somewhat serious depiction of demons and exorcism. Then one friend tricked me into watching a real-life exorcism and the way the person was yelling and the stuff he was saying just creeped the ever-living fuck out me. Just talking about it makes me feel weird. So yeah, no way in hell I'm gonna watch something every remotely close to this again. Just on a side note, I'd rather have a fight to the death with 3 Mexican cartel members that wanna cut me in half with chainsaws than watch another one of those exorcism videos. Let alone witness it close up. Fuck that. Not death itself, but of how it's going to happen. I'm more afraid of the pain than actually dying. I'm terrified of it being anything health-related to the point I get anxious from eating, or even sleeping sometimes. Yes, I am also afraid of those moments before the death, especially if I realize that I will die now in a couple of minutes. It is horrible. I'm afraid I'll end up dying alone. I was with my ex-husband for 8 years. We started dating when we were 13. I don't know how to get someone to actually like me and I'm honestly afraid I never will. And I know that sounds super shallow, but I just want to feel loved again. I don't want to feel this way forever. The prospect of there being no afterlife, nothing after death, or that if an afterlife does exist, I might not go to heaven. I saw this video once of someone jumping over a park bench and their foot slipped into the back and the knee went the wrong way. That's my biggest fear. Growing old. I know I'll have to, but I'll enjoy my youth for now. It's not so bad. The older you get, the fewer fucks you give. I read something about this. As you get older, your perspectives change about death. Mirrors. I'm terrified of mirrors. I know it sounds mundane compared to everything else in here, but I am absolutely 100% terrified of mirrors. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.